I lump grains with wheat because you don't think of grains this way, but they're very promiscuous. They mate with each other. So rye, for instance, which of course, if you have rye bread, it tastes and smells very different from wheat flour. But the genetics of rye and wheat are almost identical because rye got its start as a weed in wheat fields, in wild wheat field. If there's a problem with wheat, there's a problem with most other grains because they have the shared genetics. For instance, there's a protein in modern wheat that's very destructive to the human gastrointestinal tract. It's a very potent bowel toxin. It causes inflammation of the intestinal wall. It's called wheat germ agglutinin. And it's called agglutinin, not gluten, but agglutinin, because when it contacts blood, it causes clotting, agglutination. So this very powerful bowel toxin, wheat germ agglutinin, which has been enriched in modern wheat, by the way, is also in rice, where it's called wheat germ agglutinin, because it's exactly the same. But in other words, there's shared characteristics. So whole grains, have more bran fiber, has a little bit more B vitamins, but it still has the gliadin protein that drive opioid peptides that stimulate appetite and drive intestinal permeability. Whole grains still have lots of wheat germ agglutinin that is a potent bowel toxin. Whole grains still have plenty of phytates that bind minerals and make you poop out all the iron, magnesium, manganese, calcium, and other minerals. Whole grains still have tons of amylopectin A, the carbohydrate that raises blood sugar higher than table sugar. So in other words, just because it has more bran fiber, inert fiber, and B vitamins does not mean, if I put B vitamins in your cigarettes, are the cigarettes now healthy? Of course not. So same thing here. And by the way, don't fall for the trick of gluten-free foods. Gluten-free foods like pasta, baking mixes, bagels, pancakes are awful because they replaced a problem, gluten in this case, with cornstarch, tapioca starch, potato flour, and rice flour. Those are horrible. Those highly processed fine flours raise blood sugar, cause extravagant weight gain, make many people type 2 diabetics, and cause heart disease and dementia. They're awful. So unfortunately, we have an food industry that's very profit-driven, not health-driven. So because people say, I went gluten-free and gained 30 pounds, became a type 2, well, don't eat the gluten-free food, processed foods. So very simple. But we had, once again, an example of deceptive marketing by the food industry.
Don't hesitate to pass on the knowledge and hit the subscribe button on our channel for more practical health insights.